Most people think a powerful brain means being good at exams, solving equations, remembering facts, or sounding intelligent in conversations. But a high-performing brain is not always obvious. Sometimes it does not look calm, sometimes it does not look confident, sometimes it does not even feel like a gift, because a powerful mind can be restless, sensitive, overactive, hard to satisfy, and difficult to turn off. The truth is, your brain may be working at a higher level than you realize, not because you feel smart all the time, but because of the way you process reality. The way you notice patterns, the way you question yourself, the way you connect ideas, the way you sense problems before they happen. These are 7 signs your brain might be more powerful than you think. The first sign is pattern recognition. A high-performing brain does not just look at what is happening, it looks for what connects it. You notice repeated behavior. You sense when someone's tone changes. You see the hidden structure behind a problem. You recognize when a situation feels familiar, even before you can explain why. This is why you may sometimes predict outcomes before they happen, not because you are psychic, but because your brain is quietly collecting signals. Tone, timing, body language, patterns, contradictions. Most people see events as separate, but your brain starts connecting them, and that gives you an advantage, because the person who sees the pattern early can prepare before everyone else understands what is happening, but there is a cost. Pattern recognition can become overthinking. You may start seeing meaning where there is only coincidence. You may turn silence into suspicion, or small details into theories. That is why a powerful brain needs discipline, because pattern recognition is a tool, but without control, it can become paranoia. The second sign is that you question what other people accept. You do not easily believe something just because everyone repeats it. You ask why. Why is this normal? Why do people follow this rule? Why does everyone act like this is the only way? Why do we call this success? Why do we pretend this is happiness? That kind of questioning can make you feel disconnected, because many people do not want the truth. They want comfort. They want simple answers. They want the world to feel stable, but a high-performing brain does not always accept stability. It investigates it, it looks underneath, it searches for the reason behind the reason. This is why you may struggle with blind obedience. You do not just want instructions, you want understanding, and that can make you difficult to control, but it can also make life heavier, because once you start questioning everything, it becomes hard to enjoy simple illusions. That is the strange curse of intelligence. It can free your mind, but it can also remove the comfort of not knowing. The third sign is mental flexibility. A powerful brain can hold more than one perspective. You may understand why someone is wrong and still understand why they think they are right. You may see the emotional side of a situation, the logical side, the selfish side, the practical side, and the hidden side. This makes you less reactive because you do not only see what happened, you see why it happened. That is a rare ability. Most people defend their first interpretation. But your brain keeps rotating the situation, looking for another angle, another cause, another explanation. This can make you wise, but it can also make decisions harder, because when you see too many sides, choosing one becomes painful. You understand too much, you doubt too much, you hesitate too long. That is why a high-performing brain must learn something important. Understanding every side does not mean you must live in indecision. Sometimes intelligence is not seeing more options. It is knowing when to stop looking and finally choose. The fourth sign is system-based learning. Some people memorize information, but your brain wants to understand how the system works. You do not just want the answer. You want the mechanism. You want to know what causes what connects to what happens if one part changes. This is why you may hate shallow learning. Random facts feel boring, but when you understand the system, everything starts clicking. Suddenly the details become easier to remember. Because they are no longer isolated, they belong to a structure. This is a strong sign of a high-performing brain, because intelligence is not just storing information, it is organizing it. A powerful brain builds maps. It does not just collect pieces, it understands where the pieces belong. That is why once something finally makes sense to you, you may learn it very quickly, but if someone forces you to memorize without understanding, your brain resists. Not because it is weak, but because it was built to seek structure, not just repetition. The fifth sign is creative connection. A high-performing brain does not only stay inside one category, it connects ideas from different places. Psychology with philosophy, science with behavior, art with strategy, memory with identity, dreams with consciousness. You may hear one idea and suddenly connect it to something completely different. That is not random. That is abstract thinking. Your brain is not just asking, "What is this?" It is asking, "What else is this like? Where have I seen this pattern before? How does this connect to something bigger?" This is where creativity begins, not from nothing, but from connection. Most people think creativity is making something new, but often, creativity is combining old things in a way no one expected. That is why a powerful brain can feel chaotic, because it is constantly linking ideas, jumping between concepts, building bridges in the dark, and sometimes, the idea that looks strange at first is only strange because everyone else has not seen the connection yet. The sixth sign is sensitivity to small changes. You notice when someone's energy shifts, when a room feels different, when a person says the right words, but something in their tone feels wrong. You notice small mistakes, small changes in patterns, small signs that something is off. This can make you highly aware, but also easily exhausted, because your brain is taking in more information than you realize. It is scanning, comparing, predicting, adjusting. This kind of sensitivity can be powerful. It helps you read situations, understand people, detect problems early, and respond before others even notice there is something to respond to. But if you do not control it, it can become anxiety, because the same brain that notices small signals can also treat every small signal like danger. So the goal is not to become less sensitive. The goal is to become more accurate, to learn the difference between a real signal and a fear your brain created, because awareness is powerful, but only when it is trained. The seventh sign is metacognition. That means you can think about your own thinking. You do not just have thoughts, you examine them. You ask why you reacted that way, why you believe what you believe, why you feel what you feel, why one comment bothered you, why one memory keeps coming back, why one fear controls your decisions. This is one of the strongest signs of a powerful mind, because most people are controlled by their thoughts without ever questioning them. But when you can observe your own mind, you create distance. You stop being only the person experiencing the thought and become the person studying it. That is where self-awareness begins, but there is a danger. If you analyze yourself too much, you can become trapped inside your own mind. You can turn healing into overthinking, growth into self-judgment, awareness into pressure. So the highest level is not just thinking about your thoughts, it is knowing which thoughts deserve attention and which ones deserve to pass, because the most powerful brain is not the one that thinks endlessly, it is the one that knows when to think and when to let go. A high-performing brain is not always peaceful. Sometimes it is loud, restless, sensitive, difficult, and exhausting. It notices too much, questions too much, connects too much, and thinks too deeply. But that does not mean something is wrong with you. It may mean your mind is powerful but untrained. Because intelligence without discipline can become noise, awareness without direction can become anxiety, and deep thinking without action can become a prison. So if you recognized yourself in these signs, do not use them as proof that you are superior. Use them as proof that your brain needs responsibility. Train your focus, question your fears, use your pattern recognition carefully, turn your sensitivity into accuracy, turn your curiosity into skill, turn your thinking into action, because the real sign of a powerful brain is not how much it can process, it is whether you can guide it. And the moment you learn to guide your mind, you stop being controlled by your intelligence, you start using it.